Hello, everyone. Quick editor's note at the top. We had some audio issues, particularly on Gino's audio for this episode. It gets a little warbly at times. I'm looking into fixing that, but for this episode, it's going to sound a little weird. Hopefully, by the next episode, we'll have that figured out. Apologies for the technical difficulties. Hope that you can enjoy the Blueprints episode regardless. Alright, see you in there.
Okay, man, are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go. Now, come on, now crank this motherfucker up. Break it down like this.
Hello, Internet. Gino that Pinguino Greco here again with another episode of Deep Listens, and today we are going to be discussing Blueprints. No, not blueprints. Blueprints. Did you know that was what they were doing with the name?
Oh, really?
Blueprints.
Okay.
Blueprints. Get it?
I do now. Thank you, Gino. That can be my fun fact for the podcast this week.
Excellent. That's Pete Busby. We were talking about this puzzle roguelike thing.
I do
House
have a real
builder.
fun fact.
Okay. Ooh.
So nobody can look me in the eye and tell me this game isn't based on the Winchester Mystery House. I won't believe you. It very obviously is. Many people have thought that the Winchester Mystery House was built because the architect, a woman, very rare at the time, was the inheritor of the Winchester fortune for the Winchester repeating rifle, and she was concerned about spirits coming back to haunt her. Almost certainly not the case. That just sort of got ginned up after the fact. For Sarah Winchester, they just sort of said it about her, even though it, probably just to get visitors after she died. But nevertheless, still a very interesting house. Let me give you a very quick rundown of the components of it at the time of her death. When she died, it was 24,000 square feet with 10,000 windows, 2,000 doors, 160 rooms, 52 skylights, 47 stairs and fireplaces, 17 chimneys, 13 bathrooms, and 6 kitchens. Built for a price of $71 million in today's money. Very impressive house. It's in San Jose, California. I've never gone to see it, but I would certainly encourage anyone to. I'd certainly love to. That was your quick tourism plug, Winchester Mystery House.
So the house is that big to confuse ghosts?
That's what people say. Almost certainly not the case. What pretty much happened was Sarah was interested in architecture, and she built this home to sort of, promote that. And over time, she created so many new additions, and there was like an earthquake that she didn't rebuild everything off of, but rebuilt some stuff. And over time, it just accreted into this very strange house. And then people said, ooh, spooky seances. She was worried about being haunted by ghosts. Probably not, though.
I see. Well, that other voice you heard earlier is the mistress of games herself, M. Palladino. How you doing, M?
Hello, gentlemen. Please pass your homework up to the front of the class. I'm looking forward to seeing your Blueprints notebooks that you were told to prepare.
What am I?
I made a notebook. I did it.
Did you make a notebook? Did it help you?
I mean, I made it, and it helped with some things, I guess.
Okay, well, I look forward to seeing your your scans of it or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, I picked this because it's really popular, and you wouldn't think that talking to my co-hosts, but but this game has been really making the rounds in the indie game scene. I've put about probably 100 hours into it. Yeah. So it's a good game, I think. We'll see if we all think that.
That we shall. All right, so before we discuss Blueprints, I just want to do our normal shout outs. Reminder, you can get in touch with the show, deeplistenspodcast@gmail.com. That is our email address. You can also support the show on patreon.com/deeplistens. And you can also go to deeplistens.libsyn.com. We have comment sections there. Supporting the show, if you do that on the Patreon, would get you access to our Discord, where you can talk at us. You can talk to us and at us. You can also, at the $3 tier, get access to the OG Songcast, which is currently watching something
Martian?
Nadesico.
Yeah, Martian successor Nadesico.
Excellent. So that is coming soon. Yeah. So, also, we are rapidly approaching our 60 sub goal.
Ooh.
We still need to pick what the heck we're gonna play if we get to 60.
No, we weren't settled on it, but
We weren't settled on it.
we had ideas.
We did. We've talked about the Lost Souls of Tong Nu.
Oh
Talked
God,
about yeah.
don't do that to us.
Don't do that to us. I heard you like puzzles, Em. I heard you like notebooks.
Fuck.
I heard you like notebooks.
I deserve this.
I thought you loved notebooks and esoteric puzzles.
Okay.
What if
There's-
it was made by the
there's-
mind of a drug-addled person?
There's a limit, I think. Only ZP should have to play Tong Nu.
That's fair. We'll talk it over. We'll have something. We'll figure it out. Let's say before the next time we record, we'll figure out what the next thing is for us. Because I believe it's Raven's Cry for the Off the Deep End crew, which sounds awful. Sounds like a bad
Wait,
game.
is that Raven's Cry or Raven Scry?
Raven's Cry.
Okay.
A game so bad that they pulled the original distribution of it because it was non-functional, which I
Nice.
believe is the version they will play. if
Mark of
you
quality.
Why not?
yeah, if you support them. So go ahead. Also, like I said, just joining the Patreon gets you access to the Discord, which might get you on the Discord report.
The Discord report. Boop a doop a doop a doop a doop. This week on the Discord. You want to keep this one brief. There's stuff going on the Discord.
Good report.
Yeah, there's some basketball stuff going on.
I have that channel muted. I don't know.
Yeah, there's stuff going on with the NBA and free agency that we've been discussing. There's also ongoing discussion of whether Lost Odyssey is the best Xbox 360 or JRPG.
That can't be true. I don't know.
What are the other contenders? Blue Dragon up there?
Blue Dragon.
Not that many good
Final
ones.
Fantasy 13. The last
Well, that's not
I think
it.
it's Last Bastion. It's not a like hotly contested category, honestly. But it is a discussion that was going on in there. And I think those were some of the big things going on.
Do you know they're making another Jurassic Park?
I didn't.
Do you know it's coming out in like 3 days?
Is Chris
Is
Pratt
it?
in this one too?
No,
sure?
he got. That's what it says on the internet. We were talking about it today in the TV and movies channel. It looks like
You
it
have a
was
TV movie channel?
bad. We do. Pete, have you ever looked at our Discord?
Man, yeah, you get so much value out of this Discord for your money. It's an incredible deal when you really
Yeah,
look at
there's
it all.
just so much. There's video games, there's card games, there's art. There's a Not Safe for Work channel where we
Yeah, so
have.
that's a pornography central one. Okay.
No, that's a exclusively disasters at the office.
Yeah, it's exclusively people using equipment poorly.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like OSHA violations.
It's
Yes,
nothing but
exactly.
OSHA violations. Yes.
Yep. There is a video of a electrical worker getting knocked by a truck. Yeah, as the most recent, he's like in a bucket thingy changing a light or something. And it gets hit by a truck, and then he's flipped upside down. He seems pretty scared. That's what's going on in that channel. Yeah, let's open the Cursed Food channel. Ah, right. ZP ate something he shouldn't have.
We'll hear all about that on an upcoming Final Fantasy podcast. No spoilies.
Yeah, you'll see. You'll keep in
You'll all
touch
see.
with keep in touch with Deep Listens for more ZP eating things he shouldn't,
Uh-oh.
and also maybe some video game discussion. I guess
Sometimes.
sometimes.
If we get to it.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
Right.
speaking of video game discussion, before we get to Blueprints, my shout out this week is for Monster Train 2. It's a good game. It's one of those card builders that, like deck builders, that I tend to play and stream quite a lot. It came out a couple weeks ago. It is better than Monster Train 1 if you like that kind of game, that kind of deck building roguelike experience. That is a good one of them. So check it out. I've been enjoying it quite a bit. Monster Train 2. It's a good time. All right. Without further ado, M, you picked Blueprints. What is it?
Blueprints is a placing rooms in a mansion game at its surface. You are in your uncle's ever-changing house, which you are lined up to inherit because he has died. And whoops. And in order to inherit the house, you have to work your way through the like building a house section of the game in order to get all the way across from the entrance of the house to the antechamber at the far end, and you have to enter the fabled room 46, the 46th room on his 45-room mansion. And in order to do so, you are going to pick up items as you go. You're going to collect keys. You're going to get gems. You'll get some gold. You're solving puzzles sometimes. A lot more in the late game than in the early game. We should mention that this is going to contain some spoilers. Not a lot of spoilers, but you should play this game before you listen to us talk about it.
Yeah, we're
What do
not
you-
going to go into the deep lore. We are probably going to stop at the initial goal.
I will.
You will in a separate show. The initial goal like the game sets for you is getting to room 46 in this house, which has 45 rooms in it, and one secret 46th room. So we are going to stop there. There's a bunch of post-game stuff you can do. There's a bunch of story stuff that you can reveal during your run, but we're not going to go into the super duper deep lore because that would take quite a bit of time, and we think that there's probably a second deep spoiler cast worth of content there. Sound fair, Em?
Yep, that sounds
Given what
accurate.
you know. Okay.
Yeah.
So for the initial look at this game, right? You start in the foyer of this house.
Ooh,
You're a kid
foyer.
who
Fancy.
this is the foyer, right?
Yeah, I would have just said foyer, like a common ignoramus.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Uh,
I'm sorry. I'm not of the people anymore.
Hold on. I'm sorry.
Not an
There is
everyman.
there is a room that is called the foyer, and that is a hallway, and it is not the entrance hall that you start in.
Oh, that's a good point. This is the entrance hall, not the foyer, which is a separate room that you can unlock.
Goodness.
But yeah, when you start there, you basically get told, "Hey, your uncle died, and unless you find this 46th room, you don't inherit this house." So how do you do it? You go up to locked doors or closed doors, not locked doors. And every time you try to open a closed door, you are presented with a pool of 3 rooms to draft from. Like you were building a deck or something, except instead of building a deck, you're building a house. These rooms can be dead ends. They can be straightaways. They can be, rooms with up to
Junctions.
3 other doors. The maximum amount of doors in one room is 4. So they are all
Not counting,
cardinal
like,
directions. There's no
Grand Hall.
angles. What was that?
There's the Grand Hall that has 7 locked doors too. Never.
That's
opened
true, but
them
there's
all. I don't know where they all
True.
go.
they only ever have 4 exits. You can have
Yes.
other locked doors with things behind them, but they will not open into other rooms.
hmm
So there are only ever cardinal directions. But the trouble with selecting these rooms is that you are trying to get to this antechamber, or at least at first, the game seems to want you to get to this antechamber, which is in the back of the house. The house is 9 by 5, so 9 high by 5 wide of rooms. You can place as many rooms as you are trying to place as many rooms as you can in this house to get to the antechamber in the back. You start with 50 steps to get in a run, like to use in a run. Those steps go down every time you leave a room. So every time you transition from one room to another, you earn a step. You can do whatever you want in a room, but the second you walk through the threshold, you are cost a step. If you go down to 0 steps, your day ends, your run ends. Here are the ways that a run can end. You can run out of steps. You can get a true dead end, right? Like you don't have any way to unlock doors, or there's no more rooms you can unlock because you don't have any doors left. You can run out of keys. So you can run into locked doors that require keys to unlock. If you don't have enough keys, you can't get another key, you're done. You can run into different types of key situations. There's some like key cards occasionally that also will block your progress. If you don't have a way around those, your run is over. You can also run into natural dead ends. So like if you can't get into certain rooms because you haven't done the right puzzles, that also means your run is over. And you can just call it quits. You can just say, I end my run. Pete, let's start with just the basics here. How intuitive did you find the basic act of playing this game? Like laying down the rooms, drafting, like the surface level, I'm building a house stuff.
It's very clear early on that you want to connect things, right? Like it should be pretty obvious to you that you don't want dead ends because there's nowhere to go, obviously enough. It's also clear that you want resources. I mean, I can't think of any games where like collecting resources is a bad idea. That being said, it's harder to figure out what like an optimal strategy is going to be early on. Like there's very clear some synergies and dyssynergies. I don't know what the opposite of that is. Some synergies and dyssynergies between rooms, such that like to jump ahead slightly, like building all green rooms is good, right? If you can do it. That takes longer to clock, mostly because, especially with some of the rarer rooms, it's going to be a while before you see a bunch. And then, like, you can get early on, like, mini strategies, but to optimize things took me at the very least a little while.
Yeah, and it's also worth saying you do not start with all rooms, or like rooms have different rarities, so it's possible you can do a lot of runs and just never see a room, right? You also get the ability to upgrade these rooms as you go, so you can build more synergies into the game as you keep going, right? Like you can make it so that rooms that otherwise used to have no specialty are now green rooms or red rooms or hallways. Like there are synergies to build, bedroom synergies, things like that. That the further you play in the game, the more access to those synergies you get. Em, as someone who has gone into the deep, deep bowels of this game, how much did you find that surface level understanding of, okay, I need to play these rooms together because they synergize? How much did that actually impact your runs? Or do you at some point just ascend beyond that surface level understanding?
Oh yeah. So to begin with, there are a lot of things that you're going to want to synergize. The most obvious one being the let's see. Let's start with the laboratory. The laboratory has a machine in it that needs power. So in order to turn that machine on and get the benefit that it provides you, which is a permanent boost that you are going to be able to like benefit from over the course of every day as opposed to that day specifically, you want to provide power into the lab. So in order to do that, most often you need the boiler room, which is a puzzle room where you need to get the boiler active, and then you're going to uh, be able to turn that on and then provide power in a direction. So the most obvious use for that is something like the lab. But there are other places where you might be able to benefit from something like that, such as the garage. So usually you need, in order to open the garage door, which opens a section of the outside area, uh, you need to flip a switch in the utility room, which is like a little closet that has a circuit breaker in it. Um, but if you were to provide power to the garage, you could just hit the button, and because it has power, it will open the garage door. So there are things like that. Usually, if you need power to a room, you will see like pipelines going on the roof. And if there's power generated and going into those rooms, it will be glowing blue. But the trick of it is getting the lab next to the boiler room or linking it up through a series of rooms that all get power through them, because you can sort of chain it together like that. So if you were to get like there's a room that's like a cross shape. Um, if you can hook that up to the boiler room, you can provide power in 4 different directions. But that's really hard because you're randomly picking from 3 rooms in a like in a single slot, and once you open that door, you have to pick what the room is going to be behind it. So it's it takes some doing. And then by the late game, you have certain items that you can get that will mitigate some of that randomness. There are rooms you can find that make it so rooms don't cost any gems to put down, or there are items that do that same thing. Specifically, if you get the showroom that has a lot of items that are pretty invaluable to late game
Invaluable.
play. Is that the word? Did I?
No, they are
Yeah.
invaluable, but they're also
Invaluable.
just monetarily valuable. It costs
Yes.
a lot of coins.
They're very valuable, but if you have a bunch of coins, you get an allowance if you find certain tokens throughout the game, and you'll start with that amount of money each day. There will be a little envelope in the entrance for you that has whatever you've earned, and there are also ways to juice that too, which I exploited basically. So I usually went for an economic win in order to steamroll some of the later things. There's an item called the Emerald Bracelet, which is in the showroom, which makes it so you don't have to pay any gems for rooms. And so you could just go around and build all of the rare rooms that you would usually have to pay 2, 3, even 5 gems in order to make. So
Those only last one run, right? Like all items just last one run.
Well, you see,
can coat check them.
Yes, you could coat check them, which is what I usually do. Or there is an item that is also in the showroom, which is the Moon Necklace, which will save 2 items in your inventory for the next run. So you could kind of sort of game it. If I only have that and the Emerald Bracelet, then I could just keep those going. Sometimes you luck out. Sometimes you need to code check things.
That's the thing, is you need to. Every one of these strategies you've just described requires getting the showroom, getting the coat check room, making you need to get these specific rooms. Sometimes you just don't.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and then you're Your value
Yeah.
train just stops due to random.
Well,
Sorry,
yes,
before we
it will slow down, but go ahead.
continue, there was
Mhm,
something very important I wanted to say, and I don't want to forget it.
mhm.
The next time I'm trying to get intimate, I'm going to ask my partner if they want to make a bedroom synergy. That's all I have.
Thank you for that.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. So yes, you can sort of get stuck if you don't get certain rooms. But I have found that if I can't do one particular thing, I can sort of like adjust my strategy to do something else. Um, it's like there there are so many avenues to explore in this game that I don't feel like, oh, I can't get such and such, like I can't get the pool room and I need the pump room in order to do some pump stuff. So I can't like go do what I need to do with that. And so the run is just over. It's like maybe instead I will, get a experiment and then I'll go around and dig holes all all day. Um, because experiments are a whole thing, especially in the late game that you can really exploit. And sometimes you have to in order to make the game go. So yeah,
So
there are so many things to do.
there are a
It's a
million
problem.
things to do, and it's worth saying, like, this is a puzzle game, right?
Yes.
You are trying to connect these rooms together, but ultimately you are trying to solve a series of puzzles. Each room has, like, most rooms have some kind of puzzle to them. Some of them will have safes that you can open. Some of them will have, like you said, the laboratory. It's got this machine that you need to get power to that you can solve a puzzle with. There's the experiments. Some rooms have um, more just like straightforward. Like there's a pump room that lets you raise and lower water levels in certain rooms, which can be relevant if there's things that you want to check out that might be buried underwater. So figuring out all those different ways to manipulate each of the rooms and use them. Um, some rooms have self-contained puzzles. Like I don't know if you'd call the observatory a self-contained puzzle. It's like a very minor one. You need to point um, the telescope up at the sky so that you can use the telescope. Like there's little puzzles like that in
Oh,
some of the rooms.
There's
but
the three.
there's another thing in there too. Did you find
What?
it
What?
in the observatory?
What?
There's a little compartment at the on the far end of the telescope. Maybe you should figure out how to open that up. Find a little doodad.
There is.
Yeah.
Is it going to be worth it? Because when I drained the pool, I was very disappointed by what I found.
Did you find anything?
Yeah.
Was it
Well,
just like a coin that was an allowance bonus?
Basically, you can also get more if you have other items.
so I will say draining the pool, not very beneficial until you get to room 46, and then there will be a room unlocked, which you can purchase an upgrade for the pool room that will make it more relevant in order to, like, why you want to drain the pool, basically.
I'm not going to
Okay.
drain the pool twice. Got one shot.
See, that's the thing. It's like a lot of these things that you can do. Like you have to solve these puzzles. There's a number of puzzles that are going on in this game at all times, and they require you to get specific rooms, do specific things in those rooms. Sometimes you need combinations of rooms to even do the thing. And when that happens, it's a huge pain in the ass when you have to stop the run and do another run because you just didn't get the room that you need to combo with this other room. This game will take as much of your time as you're willing to give it.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll get to this now. I felt like this game's roguelikeness was at odds with its puzzle adventure gaminess. Like, this is a game where you are trying to arrange rooms and solve puzzles within the rooms and solve puzzles between rooms. And there were definitely times, like I said, where your run can end because the game's like, nah, sorry, it's a roguelike. You walk through too many doors, and now you have to stop your run. Or you just don't have enough keys, and sorry, you didn't get the rooms that make keys, or the commissary doesn't have keys today, or you didn't get enough money. And I know, Em, that if you put tons of hours into rigging things so that you have infinite money and, other like
Get infinite money.
resources. Just
Get
infinite
infinite
money.
money, five
That
head.
sounds like a skill issue to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you want to throw 100 hours into it so you have infinite money, then it becomes more trivial to rig the game to give you what you want. But it is a real pain in the ass when the game has a bunch of things that are actual, like, hey, I'm trying to solve a puzzle. Maybe I want to run between these rooms to see a thing without having to take screenshots of it or write it down in a notebook because I can just look, right? Like, there's no reason why I have to take notes quite as severely as I do here, except that the game will just be like, sorry, your run's over. And at a certain point, I felt like I ascended beyond dealing with the day-to-day of the steps, and I was trying to solve actual higher order problems that the game presents you with, and that is what the game encourages you to do. And every time I ran out of steps after solving a higher order problem before I could get to, like, there was a time when I got the key. I got a key that seemed to lead to the end game, and I ran out of steps before I could get to the place that I needed to use it. And it just sucked, right? Like, I solved all the puzzles, I had lined up everything, I had gotten the progress I thought I needed, and I just couldn't execute it because the roguelike part of it was like, no, sorry, new runtime.
So, I want to
Yes.
add my own criticisms, but before we just pile on,
Sure.
I'll give you space to respond to Gino if you would like.
No.
I can pile. That's fine. too.
No, you don't disagree, or
I mean, it is a issue. Because I literally, as we were like getting ready to start this recording, I was like in a position where I had a certain amount of steps and I could get to where I could pick up an item that I needed to complete the puzzle, but then I couldn't get back. And that is on day like 120 something.
yeah, and it's just annoying. It's just like, look, I have figured out how to arrange the rooms. I'm solving these higher order problems. There's a certain amount of luck. There's a certain amount of me trying to maximize my resources and all that stuff. And then, you just run out of steps, or like they just don't produce the keys that you need, or you don't get a key. There was a time when I ran out of ability to progress because I got a key card door, and this run there was no key card.
Well,
It just wasn't a key card, so I
just
couldn't
turn
unlock
the
the doors.
doors off.
Well, I didn't have the power. I didn't have the breakers either, and I didn't
Yeah.
have the security room. Or I had the security room but not the breakers. So, like, your options for getting around security doors are hope that the key card spawns, get the breaker room and the security room. You need to either get those two rooms or you need a key card. And sometimes you don't know which one you're going to need first, because the breaker room is a dead end and the security room, that's all it kind of does is get you around security doors, which sometimes they just give you a key card.
It's also you can check what items are in the building.
That's true.
Which is particularly useful if you have something like the metal detector, because that just puts a bunch of items in there that might not otherwise spawn.
Sure.
There's some stuff going on with the security room, but
That's true. But
can,
I mean, there's definitely some amount of it where, like, look, I can know that there's a bunch of stuff in this house, but I'm step constrained. So doubling back through all of the rooms to get the handful of coins or keys that are in the house, like, yes, sometimes you need to do it. And we can talk about the permanent additions that make some of these issues more mitigated. But they don't get rid of it. And at a certain point, I feel like I am solving puzzles that require fiddling. Like, if you want me to solve these organically and not just with a guide, I need to be able to waddle around this place and figure out what these different rooms do and how they work. And if you're going to make me do a different run every time I stumble upon a room, like there are times when I get a room to spawn the first time and it has a synergy with another room and I can't get from one side of the house to the other side of the house and back again without the run ending. And that just sucks. It sucks really bad in a game that has a lot of randomness to it. Like there were multiple items that I got or like keys that I got and could not find the way to use them until like several runs later or looking it up in a guide because just randomness screwed me. And that's a bummer. It's a real bummer. And I wish, it seems like they've added quality of life stuff as you go, as they've been developing this game. I'm hopeful that they will eventually add a like, hey, we saw that you found room 46, no more steps. At a certain point, I get that they're trying to get you to do more runs so that you see more rooms, and I get the good of it early. Right? I don't think that there's a problem with the 50 step count, or when you get some additions that give you more steps. Like that's all super useful for forcing people to see more of the game and not just bang their head against the wall. Because sometimes people, I imagine, just won't admit that they're stuck and should restart their run and do a new run. I get that entirely, but I do think once you get to a certain level of depth into the game, the step counter and some of those other constraints, like if you say where to find room 46 and inherit the house, maybe you should just have infinite keys. Maybe you should just have infinite gems, infinite keys, infinite steps. And
just buy the master key from the showroom.
Oh, does the master key stick around if your run ends?
Yes. Yeah. No. But
oh, okay. Then fuck that. Like, actually, fuck that. Like, this is a game with pretty elaborate puzzles to solve. That, like, Pete, have you messed with the pictures in each of the rooms? Did you figure that out?
What? Oh, I mean, I pulled a candelabra.
Oh.
Ooh.
I did not mess with pictures.
Where was
Good
the candelabra?
Oh,
Don't tell
God.
Don't tell him it's a
It was
secret.
on a fireplace.
Just look at the
I
fire.
don't remember I don't remember. There are too many rooms. I don't remember their names.
Okay, well, the picture. Did you notice that there's two sketches in every room, or most every room?
No.
Okay, there's two sketches on the walls of most rooms. There's a whole code for figuring that has to do with those pictures, and I was doing that, and the codes. See, they correspond with the room, with the space on the grid, and not with the room. So that was what I was using my notebook for. I was filling out the code little by little, and then it's like, oh, dang, I sure do wish I could double back to this room that I placed, but I can't because I'm going to run out of steps. Or, oh man, the top right corner, I would love to place a room there. I don't usually get to put one there because I'm usually moving towards the antechamber. Oh, but I got one there this time. Ah, crap, I didn't notice the first time I walked through. Shit. Now I need to do an entirely new run just so that I can figure out what the code is for that room. It's annoying. It's annoying, and I think you agree that it is annoying. In the late game, like the early game's fine.
Yeah. Well, in the late game, when you are doing these more complex puzzles, it can be a little bit more trying for some of these, especially when you do like these picture puzzles, and then you find out that the clue that you earned from completing this is something that you already knew.
Oh yeah, I noticed. If
Mhm.
it spells what I think it spells, it's just like, hey, look at the safes, you dingus. It's like, oh, dang.
Not quite, but how much of that did you get? Do you have like
Let me look at my notebook. One second.
thing filled out? All right. Oh, his notebook isn't here. He has to go get his notebook. Pete, what do you think?
Okay, I'm back. So my
welcome back.
notebook, what the grid says is
Mhm.
if something count small at Something dates crack 8 safes.
Well, pretty close. You got some missing spots there, but you can put it together. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm
This is just
guessing.
this.
I'm guessing
Just,
this says if we count small gates.
Mhm.
I don't know what the middle one is. I think I
Mhm.
got a letter wrong. Eat. Something dates crack 8 safes. What is the
Yeah, you got
middle one
most
with
of
the
that.
E?
8.
Okay, 8.
Mm.
If we count small gates, 8 gates crack 8 safes.
There you
So
go.
like, okay, their dates. All of the combos are dates for the safes. Spoilies, I guess. I found 3 or 4 of the safes and opened them.
hmm
Um,
Did you do it by guessing dates, or did you look them up?
I solved one legitimately.
Damn,
Why?
because you're going to jail. Because you're looking
fine.
up stuff.
Look, when there's permanent editions. Pete, did you get any of the permanent editions?
I did.
Which ones?
I got the gate. I got the gem mine.
Mhm.
I got the like shed or whatever,
Yep. Did you get the
Okay.
and
orchard?
some allowance tokens. Yeah, I got the orchard. I think that's all of them, honestly.
Did you get? How many did you get? 3, 4?
Or let me count: orchard, gem mine, shed.
What's the shed?
The outer room.
Yeah, you can build other
Oh,
rooms.
well,
And I
yeah.
opened the gate if that counts as an extra one.
I think that's included in the shed.
Okay, and then I got I don't know, the grotto, whatever the.
Right. hmm
I didn't get the grotto.
Yeah. So let's see. There's the apple orchard. That is just a gate you need to put a code in. You can figure that out pretty simply. Not too many steps to that. That gives you an extra 20 steps whenever you start a day. The gem mine gives you 2 gems at the start of every day. You can get that by doing the color puzzle in the utility room.
How are you supposed to learn about the color puzzle?
There's a note that has the code, or how the lights work is in the mailroom, and then if you get the office, the computer has a uh, like email from the tech guy who says this is the code.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's how I got it.
Yeah. What else? What were the other ones? Oh, the outside gate. That is you unlock
Garage.
the garage, and then you just walk over and you unlock the gate. I feel like you could just reach over that thing and have pulled the little doodad that is securing it. It is not a complex gate to unlock. Um, what else? Grotto, that's the doing the lab puzzle. That gives you, what does that give you? Something
Well, it
with
gives
the
you access to
electricity.
like other areas. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never went to the grotto. I don't know what that is yet.
Yeah. If you do the lab machine,
Oh,
that will give
that's
you access to that.
okay. So I need to get the boiler room adjacent to the laboratory. Got it.
Or here's what I have a super secret way of doing these electrical puzzles, which is I have a upgrade on my aquarium, which is a pretty easy room to put down. Doesn't cost a lot. Pretty simple. But I upgraded my aquarium to have electric eels, so it also generates power, which is uh, much better, but also there's an experiment that can give you just a ton of aquariums. So I was doing like flips and shit with my with my electrical output. Um, that is dependent on finding a upgrade disk, which is pretty rare to begin with,
Yes.
and also getting, because it rolls randomly
Yes.
which room you're gonna upgrade, and getting
finding
the
a terminal.
aquarium. Yes, I mean there's 3 or 4 in most houses, right?
Sure would suck if you had 2 upgrade discs and then ran out of steps before you could get back to the terminal. Sure
What
would
What sort
suck.
of idiot? What sort of idiot would allow that to happen? I mean, that's crazy.
It
No
sure
one
was
would.
fun when I found out what the car keys do and then found the upgrade disc and then couldn't get back to a terminal because I didn't know what the fuck the car keys did.
What do you think the car keys do?
I thought they unlocked the car, but I didn't know what was in them. Sometimes it's like, okay, you've got a puzzle, just note it down in your notebook. And sometimes it's like, oh, this is a run-based
See,
reward. Congratulations, fucker. I guess you don't get to use this upgrade.
here's what I thought the car keys would do. I thought I was gonna go for a little drive. I
That
thought
would've
I
been
was gonna.
sweet.
I thought I was gonna get to go into town or something.
Yeah,
And then no, you get an item, you get a note. You
I
know,
I have a criticism I've been waiting to levy though. I've been
sure.
biting my tongue slightly because it felt like Gino had a lot to get off his chest.
Yep.
I think he has now. But my issue with the roguelite isn't even mechanical, it's logical. Because
Okay.
it makes no sense within the context of the story. You're, I think you're
Same way.
14. You're a 14-year-old boy, nephew,
Mhm.
visiting your uncle's house, and you have to make it through to the 46 room, right? We've established that.
Mhm.
But then, like, eventually you just get too tired, but
Yeah.
you have enough energy to walk out of the house, regardless of where you are at that moment, and then go stay at your tent. Don't fall asleep on the many, many, many bedrooms you pass
Yep.
throughout the
Hold
house.
on.
I know
What?
that's a stipulation. I know that's a stipulation from your uncle, but that also doesn't make any sense. Like, when I think about this compared to, like, Hades, right?
Mhm.
Logic of Hades I get. Now, granted, if you were dying every time in this run, I'd have a lot more questions as well. But I feel like this wasn't that well thought out in terms of a mechanic for making you go through this house over and over again.
I will say, you could be sleeping in the rooms. Try ending a run in a bedroom sometime. Because
I'm
there
not.
are.
I'm not diving into more mechanic. Like, I don't need any more Easter eggs.
All right,
I'm
fine.
done. I'm Easter egged
It's
out.
oops
All
all
right,
Easter eggs.
All right. Well, I don't know. Here's the like. The core of it, I guess, where all the problems are coming from. This is a game that was made. The most basic form of this game came together. I gotta cite this interview. A chat with the creator of Blueprints on Play, Watch, Listen with Alana Pierce, featuring the creator Tonda Ross. He says that this game was created as a like learning how to use Unity project, uh, like first game ever made kind of thing. And he says that the core mechanics of the game were basically decided in the first like 2 months, and then there was 8 years of development after that. So
You
in
can change
the
things.
yeah, in the grand scheme of things, I think there are a lot of things decided in those first 2 months that maybe got weeded out by the end of it. But a lot of what he was saying was that the like later stuff was like fine tuning the puzzles and making even more puzzles, like just getting really granular with everything. So it's hard to say like what could have shaken out if steps would be still included, if there were more like, I don't know, the whole development process. He goes into it in the interview. It sounds like it was a really weird like QA cycle,
bet.
particularly because he was doing it by himself. It sounds like, and he didn't have like code notes or anything to give to someone else. So I feel like if there were complaints about like, I feel like steps should be outmoded at a certain point. It might have fallen by the wayside just because there's this one guy doing it. And frankly, any game getting made is a miracle. But the fact that this game A is made, um, and B is as functional as it is nothing short of miraculous. Yeah, you should go listen to that interview if you want more information, because it was great. And also, me as a game designer, I was like gripping my desk, like, you did what in how long?
As a
Yeah.
rejoiner, I think
Mhm.
all you say is very
Yes.
reasonable points. Let
Mhm.
me add one
Mhm.
thing.
Go
I
ahead.
played enough of this game, and
Mhm.
I think it would be fair to say read enough other stuff about this game to
Mhm.
get some of the deep lore.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not going to get that far into it because I know we're going to do a separate deep
Yep.
lore cast. But I got enough of it to say I don't care about it at all. None of it was necessary. You didn't have to invent entire fake new realms and countries and things and write very long books about them. You could have just
Mhm.
given me a mystery house, said my uncle was an eccentric architect, go explore it. Or even if you wanted a story, you could have just like very quickly, because this is where I thought it was going, say your uncle was, I don't know, a collaborator during the war,
Mhm.
very ashamed of it. That's his deep dark secret, and that would have been fine. You could have used all that time to do other things I would have cared about more. And everybody should only do things that I personally care about.
I
Or
don't
like
know.
counterpoint, what if they use that time to do more surface level puzzles so that you don't need to get guides and dive into the deep lore to see the real shit? Like I don't maybe I'm
That's
missing
the
just a
puzzle.
ton.
That's the puzzles. Is figure out the deep lore and then work backwards and then
Oh.
do like a weird little, I don't know. I got a whole bunch of stuff on the when we do the deep lore episode, I'm gonna go into all of this shit in my notebook.
More candelabras, less deep lore.
This feels weird to me though, considering how much you loved. What's that other game where like it turns out the whole world's puzzles? We
Myst.
rag
Witness?
on, no, we rag on Billy about it all the time.
Is it the
Uh,
Witness or
well, I think it's the witness.
well, the
The one
Witness
he
is one
invented.
of them, but I
It's
think
the
you're
way.
thinking of
You
oh dang it,
know,
Talos Principle.
yes,
Mm.
like that's another one where they're just they put so much weird esoteric nonsense in the back of the game. You just sort of like had to figure out.
Hmm.
See, the Talos Principle, I found one, when you're in a puzzle, for the most part. They're puzzle rooms. They're just rooms that have a beginning and an end, and you solve the puzzles.
And they're just like,
And
here's the puzzle.
it's like, here's the puzzle. This one, it's like, oh, did you look at that book in this corner of this one room and then connect that room to this other room, which lets you see that the architecture lines up this one specific way, and then that lets you know what page to open in this book that you can rent out in the library. But remember, you need to rent the library because they only give you one book at a time, and so you have to read each of the book. It's too much. It's too much in a game that has a bunch of randomness to it that can make it so that you just can't even see most of those things in one run. You need to do it across multiple runs, so you have to have your little booklet, and you need to spend a bunch of time lining up all the doodads. And then sometimes when you line up all the doodads, if you didn't look up what the fuck the answer is, sometimes it's just here's the beginning of another puzzle. This puzzle just gives you the beginning to another puzzle.
That does
Congratulations.
happen a lot.
Congratulations. Hope you had another run in you because you didn't plot out the second leg of this puzzle. Because if you solve these things by yourself without looking up guides, it's fucking bullshit. It sucks so bad to just like get the congratulations, you solved this elaborate thing. What do you get? You get a key to a room you don't have yet. Sick. Cool. Great.
Mhm. That did happen to me very recently. I think that happened to me like yesterday.
It happened to me like 4 times. I beat the game, or I got to room 46 in like my 25th day, I think, or something like that. But the first time, like, let's just say, like, the antechamber, you need to find a way to get into the antechamber because all the doors are shut. There's a few rooms that have switches to open the antechamber. Then, once you get into the antechamber, it gives you a key to the basement, which you need to find a way to get into the basement. There are like 4 ways to get into the basement. If you don't have one of them unlocked, sorry, your run ends there. You will need to actually open the basement twice. You need to get in 2 different ways. One, so that you can move a minecart, and another one so that you can actually get to the room where you use the basement key, or like open up the back room of room 46, the entrance to room 46. And that requires you to have the foundation, which also doesn't spawn immediately. So you might just not have the foundation, which has an elevator in it. You need to drain, like you either need the crypt so that you can get into the room that you need to move the minecart, or you need to drain the fountain at the entranceway. Like, it was cool when I went outside the first time and realized, oh, there's an outside world too. That was cool. And then it became a giant pain in the ass.
Dino doesn't even want the inheritance.
I
He's like, "Might as well
think
be dead."
I think you just don't got it. I think it's not hitting. That's okay.
I enjoyed it for the most part. I enjoyed a lot of this game. I just wish the bullshit parts didn't suck so bad. Like,
That's the hard hitting games criticism Gino provides. I wish the bullshit parts didn't suck so bad.
Listener, if you play this game and you think that we are babies, please write us an email.
If you wish the bullshit parts sucked even harder, let us know.
but I don't think it's unreasonable to be like, yo, it sucks when you run out of steps because these puzzles are all 5-steppers. Like, you want me to figure it out legitimately? Cool. Don't give me a key to another puzzle in the middle of your puzzle and they all have to be solved in one day, and oops, you run out of steps. Like,
Put
don't
that
do
shit
that.
in the code check.
Oh, cool. I hope I had the cope
Just
check
use the
this
code
run.
check. Just get the room that makes rooms rarities adjust, and then lower the code check way down to common, and then you'll get the code check every time.
Just get the item
I
that
don't
lets you
know.
manipulate the game drop rates, because that's a reasonable
Yeah.
thing.
I was
I
I don't
can't
know.
play it for you, Gino.
I'm very forgiving with stuff like this because I like to just like have a weird system where I just am let loose, and if I want to flip over a whole bunch of stones, I can. This game is just stones under stones under stones. Um, I'm over 100 days, over 120 days into this of runs. Some of those runs are just like I made like 3 rows, and then I was like, I think I'm gonna reset. Like, I'm not in any kind of time crunch. I'm seeing the sights. I'm writing stuff in my little notebook. My notebook is full. There's like I don't know. There's like 40 pages or something in this notebook. Every
Wow.
page has something on it. Some of it is completely useless now because as soon as I figure out what the answer is, like I don't need I don't need all the music room notes anymore. because I figured out what the music room puzzle was leading to by accident because I was just. Have you done this? Have you done this puzzle?
No.
I don't know. I won't spoil it, but there's like musical
music?
sheets. Yes, the sheet music.
I saw sheet music everywhere. I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't find that yet.
Well, yeah. If you take notes on what is important there, you can find something special. And I just happened to find it like I was out walking around and I was like, what is this? Why did this light up for me? So it's just shit like that. That's like, it's neat.
It's very neat.
I don't need all
look,
of it. But
again, I played this in 2 weeks, right?
Yes.
I played this for the show under a time pressure. So at a certain point, you played it at your leisure for days, and it sounds
Yes.
like weeks. Like that's a different experience. My experience was you saying, if you don't get to room 46, I'm going to kill you.
my threat was I will blow up the entire podcast if we don't finish like at least the first section of this game, which I think was a fair line to set. I did not want you to reclaim the throne or anything, which is what has taken me 120 days, and I was trying to do before this podcast started, and then I got screwed on something. But we gotta. The point of this podcast is to give games the like fair shake, and I think if we didn't meet that, we can't talk about it.
I agree. I gave it the fair. The thing is,
Yes.
when you're under a time pressure, this game, if you're trying to solve it legitimately,
This is a nightmare.
it's a nightmare. It's just impossible to do legitimately unless you're spending multiple days only playing this, which I did like do that for like a day or two. I just played this game, and I made good progress. But the thing is, when I got to the antechamber and they handed me the basement key, and I was like, "You fuckers, are you serious? I don't even have a way to get into the basement. What do you mean the basement key? I haven't seen a door that takes this key." And I have 10 steps left. It took me 20 days to get in that room.
But now you know how to do it. And so you can sort of, it kind of consolidates itself if you know certain things. Like I was trying to do like a day one run, which is where you just like complete the game in the first day you're on the premises, and like because of the notes I took, I can get pretty far. I've never actually been able to complete it just because I got to line the pieces up correctly, and it's very dependent on luck. So I don't know how long it's going to take me to do that, especially because I'm confined to the amount of steps I have. I don't get any of the bonuses that like carry over between days, but it sort of gets easier the longer you do it. And because of our format, it's probably not a good game for our format, I'll say. Would you agree with that?
Yes. Yeah, 100%. Like, I think that this game is good. I will probably play more of it. I will probably play it again. But I think my criticisms of the format, like the roguelike parts that get in the way, I think holds up regardless. Like, I don't think that I think beyond getting to the 46th room, and even like after day 10 or something, I felt like I didn't need the steps. Like, I think that there are some elements of this game being a roguelike that are just in direct tension with the interesting parts of the game. And once that becomes true, I wish that there was just I don't know, like a modifier you got, or hey, once you beat the game or something, don't worry about this roguelike stuff. And I'm sure if you mod the game, you can just mod it out or something. But I think that it impedes some of the parts of it that I would really enjoy through bullshit, through stuff that's just like, dang, I'm now anxious that I don't have enough steps. It's making me constantly do math about whether I have enough steps to see the puzzles, not actually worry about the puzzles. I'm like spending a bunch of time budgeting how many resources I have to see if I can actually see the next thing that's cool about the game. And that's just a bummer. That's all.
Yeah, that's fair.
It gets in its own way. Like, I think that this game has a lot of really cool stuff going on. Like, I liked figuring out the pictures on the walls. I liked figuring out some of the safes and their the ways to use them. I liked figuring out the boiler room. Not the boiler room. The boiler room sucks. The pump room. I liked figuring out the pump room. Like, that was kind of fun. I liked, getting books in the library and then getting other books, right? Like, all those things I think are enjoyable unto themselves. And every time I had to interact with the roguelike part where luck could get you or the run, like the logistics of the run could get you, it just sucked. It diminished my enjoyment. And yes, the format of this podcast made it such that I just banged my head against those way harder than if I was just doing a run or two every couple of days.
That's fair.
There's a lot of game after you get Room 46, right?
Oh yeah, there's probably, I don't know when exactly I got to Room 46 the first time, but I would say like in my 120 or so days, like probably 80% of that is me just fucking around after getting to the quote unquote end of the game. Because there's doors down there underneath, like in the underground area. There's doors down there. You probably haven't gotten any of the keys for those in just not doing the regular run, because it takes a bit to find them. Just stuff like that. Like, it's fairly, once you know how to do it, fairly straightforward to get to the end of the game. And then getting to, like, what I'm finding is maybe the second ending or third ending is much harder and is going to take a lot more investment, like exponentially more investment as you're as you're going. Like,
So
I don't know. There are things I could tell you about this game that are gonna
Don't-
just
without telling me that, as
yes,
someone who has made the investment,
yes.
do you feel like the story the game is telling is compelling enough, or do you think just you've got a Rubik's Cube and damn it, there's one square that's off, and I just need to flip that square. I need to solve the cube. It's nagging at me. Like, is it the puzzle that is keeping? Do you feel like it's earning that investment out of you?
Before M gives her much more informed answer, let me come out with a hard no. for that
Okay.
story.
See, like all right. Why do you say no?
It's
Just
not like
not grabbing you?
it's just a veneer of story. It's like somebody like just laid out like, okay, here's my outline for the novel I want to write one day. I'm just like, cool. When you write that story, I'll be very excited to read it.
Yeah, that's fair. Um, so I feel like because I know that there is more to see, like a lot of what got me through the first part was I want to like know what the secrets are. And then as I was going through it, I was getting more like of the discovery portions, like what's going on with your character's mother, what's going on with your strange uncle. There is a whole overarching like the state of the world that you're in, because this is not Earth. I don't know if you noticed that. Um, like, there's just so much to look at, and I feel like I'm not going to be satisfied until I have, you know, gotten to the point where I feel like there is nothing more to look at. And if I told you like what people think is the ultimate end of it, uh, it's kind of like a non-end in that you're just gonna keep going forever, basically. It's a toy for as long as you want to turn it. In the Rubik's Cube sense, you know. Um, I don't know. I keep looking at. I've got a sheet in my little notebook here that is like the language of the place that you're learning about. And then on the other side of the page, I have a note that's written all in that language. And I actually went through and I translated the entire thing. And it gave me ultimately no clues. But I was like I didn't get like use this code to open this door or anything. But I was like, damn, I'm in deep, you know?
Got a real like Christmas story, drink your Ovaltine.
Yeah, I don't know what to what to do with this information now that I have it, but maybe it'll come up in a later puzzle. Who knows?
So, last question before we call it on blueprints.
For now.
For now, look forward to part 2 where we go even deeper.
Mhm.
Did you use a guide at any point, Pete?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think when I started using the guide. I definitely did to find out about the story stuff. Yeah, I probably did before that too.
Okay. M,
Mhm.
did you use a guide?
I used a guide for figuring out most of the time when I had fucked something up. uh, Particularly in the late game puzzles, there are things that like you didn't align just quite right, and so I was like, "What is happening here?" I'm gonna say a bunch of words that are not gonna make any sense to you, um, but there is a castle cipher. I had solved the cipher. I found the area that is beneath that, and then I was like, what am I supposed to do with this final bit of the puzzle? And this was like 2 days ago, also. And I was like, you know what? I put most of this together. Like I have all the clues. Mr. Police Officer, I gave you all the clues. And then I was like, I'm so close. I'm just gonna look it up. And then today, because that gave me a key that I didn't know what to do with. Um, and so I was like, okay, I have this key now. What does this go to? And I was like, if I end the day, I'm going to lose this key probably. And I don't know if I'm going to have to do all the bullshit I need to do to get it back. Um, Fortunately, you don't have to do every single step, which was asking a lot. Like I had put 90% of it together, and I had to just be like, just tell me what the answer is. I'm so tired.
Yeah, and I used guides for like some of the Room 46 stuff, like where do I use this basement key? Where to like dang, the
Yeah,
foundation, how the hell does the foundation work? Like some
yeah.
basic stuff like that. That I'm sure if I had just done dozens of runs, I would have stumbled across, but I was on a deadline, so I used a
Mhm.
guide. Um,
Can I ask where your foundation was?
it was in the second rank.
Mhm.
Sorry, it was on like the third or fourth row, second column from the left.
Okay, and that's not too bad.
Yeah, it wasn't like
Mine,
an awful
Close to each
location.
other.
yeah. Pete, where did yours go?
I think I was one further to the left.
Okay, all right.
You couldn't
Yeah,
have been, I don't think.
oh, I
I
think
don't
if
think they
you
put you.
like, if it makes a T shape.
Oh,
Oh
maybe
no,
I'm
wait,
off
it
then.
won't. No.
Yeah,
Yeah, then
you're not
I
allowed to
don't
put it
know.
on an exterior wall.
okay,
Yeah,
then we
because
must be in the same location then.
in order to solve it, you would have to get to the back of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Mine was apparently you could put this in a really like fucked up place, but I
Oh
was just
no.
curious. Mine was like in the center column, like 3 up, and I was like, this seems pretty good.
That not good?
That seems fine. No, that was good.
That seems
That was
good.
like
I was gonna
Yeah.
complain about anything Em said. That was where you put your foundation. Ugh.
fair enough.
moron.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. But
But yeah,
yeah, that was like
I enjoyed this game overall for sure. I'm probably going to play more of it. I
Mhm.
just like some of the user friendliness. I think maybe it is also in active development still. They're still pushing patches. Like I wouldn't be surprised if some of these quality of life things eventually come to the game. But yeah, another thing, just like feedback, there isn't much of it. Right?
yeah.
Like if you're
Oh,
stuck or stumped, there's no hint system. There's no like you just need to wander around more. If you're just not using guides, you're wandering around more, hoping to find a puzzle or hoping to find a clue, which can be frustrating. If you feel like you've gotten close to a solution but you haven't found the clue yet, considering there's 45 rooms and they're randomly distributed.
It sounds like you need a new clue.
Sounds like I
No.
need to play more and more and more and more.
There's a book called A New Clue
Oh,
in
is
the
that a
game.
book?
That's
Oh, great.
what I was referencing.
Nice one, Em.
Anyway, well, you know. All right, well, I'm gonna go back to it because I was so close to seeing another cutscene, and then I fucked up one little thing.
You got to go talk to Alcazar or whatever.
Oh yeah, did you like that bit?
Great.
I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
Like put a coin into this machine and it'll tell your future. That was fun.
hmm The Zoltar machine from Big
Yeah,
made Tom
from
Hanks adult.
Playland Park, which I used to live near.
Me too.
All right.
All right.
Well, that's it for Blueprints, which means it is now my turn to pick once again. I am debating what game to pick. Oh, let me look up this game. 1 second. Stall for a second.
Pete, any final thoughts on
Let me see if there's
Blueprints?
anything else I can complain about.
I'm gonna
Seemed like
drop
you
in
seemed
the Nexus mods page for Blueprints,
There's nothing on the
which
pool.
which gives you a there are mods in here that are like make it faster so you don't dig. You have a black screen every time you dig. You can
know what?
set your steps to 999.
You know what else I thought
I'll
was
leave these here
weird
for Gino.
is like the housekeeper, like when you get your allowance, basically says like, "Look, I know there's no staff there or anything, but rest assured, I'm watching you." And I
Uh
was like, Jesus, how?
huh.
That
So
one creeped me out.
yeah, there's like I don't know if you did all the that Zoltar guy
I did
puzzles.
2 of them. I did the first 2,
Yeah.
I guess.
There's one of them that's like someone is watching you from the doorway of that room.
Ugh.
It's like that's scary. I don't like that.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
I'm sorry, Alzara. Forgive me for my
I didn't like
offense.
that made it creepy. Like it made the game creepy for a little bit. I didn't like that. Okay, my pick.
Huh?
Choose wisely.
I pick for the next game to play. We have not played a shooter in a very
no.
long time.
True.
I pick Titanfall 2.
Oh, yeah.
Our long tradition of only picking the second one in the series.
I was told that Titanfall 2 is the one to get.
Yes.
It is on steep discount for the Steam sale.
Nice.
It is 85% off right now.
It's a good
I
sale.
already got it.
Excellent. Well, Titanfall 2 is our next podcast game.
All right.
Much shorter, very good 6-hour experience as opposed to whatever this
Question
was.
mark.
The 100 you've sunk in thus far.
Listen, I'm okay. I'm fine.
All right. Well, thank you, Pete.
Yeah, this was a fun one.
Thank you, Em.
Thank you. Look forward to me talking to someone else about the back of this game.
And thank you, dear listeners. A reminder, you can get in touch with the show, deeplistenspodcast@gmail.com, deeplistens.libsyn.com. We have our comment sections, and support the show on patreon.com/deeplistens. Till next time, peace.
Break it down.